So today we're doing a set of Coraline inspired nails. So grab a brew, take a seat, and let's get started. So this is the bestie, she is back. I did a full soak off for her, I think about a week or so before we did these nails. And then we are going in, so we're going in with a whole fresh new set. So I'll be able to show you right from beginning to end, shaping, prep, everything. So you go in first off and you're going to lift that cuticle. We're not pushing it back, we're lifting it because we want to be able to get the e-file bit, the flame bit underneath, just to clean out that pocket and make the nail plate nice and clean. Now I am using a metal file here and I'm reducing the length. I can't reduce it too much because she gets her nails done very regularly with me, once or twice a month, and her epiniciums are super high. So I've already started etching a little bit. I think there's a little bit of product potentially left from the last time. Occasionally I will leave just a very thin layer, but I think it was only a tiny little bit, so I just wanted to make sure it was nice and smooth. So yeah, getting them all filed down, ready for tips. When you are applying tips, try and get them as short as you can, but obviously again, always be careful of that epinicium. I did forget to put the talc on today, and I tell you what, it made such a difference not having it. Honestly, I didn't really appreciate how much before I didn't use it, if that makes sense. So I am then going in with my e-file bit. I go in forward down the left hand side of the nail, then in reverse down the right hand side of the nail, getting right into that pocket, making sure it's really clean. Then I will go in my cuticle nippers. Now I'll let you watch the rest of the prep and I'll be back in a moment. And if this content is your kind of thing, please do like and follow for more. I do upload pretty much daily on the short and at least once a week on my long form videos. So there's always something new for you to watch. So coming in now with the Katie Barnes cuticle scissors and just trimming off any non-living tissue. That is all non-living. If you'll notice, it's not bleeding or anything like that. It's just trimming off the white tissue. And all of the bits that I'm using today are from Katie Barnes, I think predominantly. If I see anything that's not, I will let you know, but like the e-file bits, the cuticle scissors, the cuticle lifting bit is from Hona, and I love that. So now I have been using sanding bands, but I've actually stopped and gone back to hand file and etching. Honestly, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. My only concern with etching was I was always a bit like, is it a bit too smooth? So am I going to get the same kind of etch that I get? It's much quicker, maybe a little bit quicker. But certainly I think going forward I'm just going to be using the hand file like this. It is a 150 grit, it's what the brand recommend, but I will use 180 sometimes if I'm concerned, and I'm only literally lightly etching. I'm not filing anything away. I'm just dusting over the surface just to make sure there's little etches for the acrylic to stick. Then we're going in with our tips. When you're applying tips, always make sure you pick the slightly larger ones. So go up a size. If you between the smaller and the bigger one, go up and trim them down. My glue was just not playing, so I think I need some new glue, and also it's quite cold. So I have trimmed out some of the excess because it was just taking ages for them to stick. So I have ordered a load of new glue, and please keep your fingers crossed for me. Hopefully that'll be better next time. So yeah, I see that it just wasn't playing at all. But yeah, hopefully I'm hoping it's going to be better, because normally the glue with these tips works an absolute treat. So once I've got the tips on, I will trim them and file them to shape. So I'll come back in a moment once I've done that. I was running really low on clear, and my order hadn't arrived of it, so I used the Dare to Bear from, is it CJP? I can't remember, but it's a very, very pale, almost white colour, and I used that and I just laid that down as the base colour, because I always like to lay a clear base. I want something to file back to because I'm doing a design set. So yeah, I am literally just making sure that's nice and smooth. Any little areas are actually covered. You'll see there's a tiny little kind of gap, and I'm making sure that's nice and kind of covered. But again, I'm trying to work really, really thin because I am going to be building these up, because there will be a lot of layers because I'm using glitter. So I'll come back in a moment once I've done that. But laying a clear base or nearly clear base will make such a difference to your retention as well. To be honest, this client's nails last beautifully anyway, but I always like to do everything I can just to make sure that they don't lift or anything like that. In fact, I don't know whether I mentioned before, but I did use a dehydrator and a primer before I go in with this, so I'm not sure I've left that footage in. So it's a dehydrator, any dehydrator will do, and I use Young Nails Protein Bond, which is by far and away one of the best primers that I've used. I would recommend it to anybody, especially if you're having problems with retention or anything like that. It's fantastic. Because we're doing a design set, I am going to go in with a, and normally I would start a third of the way up if I'm doing a full colour. But because I'm doing an ombre, I wanted to lay down the nude underneath it. So I'm going in with the nude, and then I'm just kind of blending that down towards the tip. Then I will pick up a bead with a tiny little drop of clear. That's why I needed to reserve the clear that I had, because obviously I can't use any kind of pigmented colour. So I am going in with a tiny little bit of clear, picking up the acrylic and placing it on there. I'm leaving the monomer in the brush. I'm not wiping my brush too much, and I'm just wiggling my brush around to get the glitter where I want it. Now I do this in 2 layers, so I'll do 1 layer, kind of make sure it is where I want it. And if it's a bit patchy at this point, don't worry about it. You're going to come back. Just leave this, let it set for a second, and then go and do your next nail. So again, the middle nail was the same design. So I am literally just wiping that down using that little cuticle bead of the nude and blending that down over the tip. So this is the second layer. I am literally just going in again, tiny little bead. I've just remembered this acrylic was actually it was glitter in clear acrylic. So I was able to save the remaining clear, because again, I really didn't have a lot of clear acrylic for capping. So that was really useful. I don't often buy glitter acrylics, but my bestie is a nail tech as well and had this one. I wanted to use it, and frankly, it was absolutely stunning. I think it might be from Wow Bow or something like that. It's gorgeous colour. And when it was all like top coated and everything, honestly, next level. Can't sing my praises high enough. And it's got loads of different sizes, so it went from really, really tiny fine glitter, so it was quite easy to get the coverage that I wanted. Then on the little finger, we are doing an ombre. It's like a marbled ombre look. So I go in first off, again with a cuticle bead of the nude that I'm using, and I just blend it down towards the tip. Then I go in to the 2 shades of kind of purpley blue that I was using and blue, and I'm literally just going to swirl them on. So I pick up 2 beads at once. You'll see in a moment when I come back with the brush. So I've picked up 2 beads. They're a similar colour. I didn't want it to be too wildly different. It's just to give kind of almost like a galaxy type of effect. One of them was like a blue with a slight bit of glitter in it, and the other one was, I would say, like it was a navy blue purple colour. It was stunning. So I am literally just blending that up. Remember, this does not need to be exact, even, smooth, anything like that. It's a marble. It's supposed to look a little bit all over the place. So what I did was I literally just blended that on, and I picked up more beads where I wanted to and just smooshed them through. Now don't smoosh it too much because it'll end up just one colour. So you'll see that I'm trying not to touch it too much with my brush, but I am literally just kind of painting that down, and then I will go in, I think I put a tiny little bead on at the end, or 2 little beads of the colour on at the very end, and then I do like a little very thin layer of the glitter over the joinery. You'll see in a moment when I do that. So here again on the index finger, I'm doing another kind of galaxy marble effect, exactly the same, just in an opposite direction. So just place the 2 beads on there and just very gently swipe that nail through, almost like you're cutting through it. So again, just placing them on there and then just swiping it through. I'll take it up the side as well a little bit, and just using the tip of my brush there. So next we're going to cap in clear. So I'm literally going in with our acrylic, placing that on the top, getting it neat around the cuticle, and then blending it down the nail. I'm working reasonably wet and making sure my brush is really well burped. So when you burp your brush, you want to push it right into your monomer and until all of the bubbles stop coming out of it. So you'll notice that I'm just making sure that I'm just wiping down the sides. I'm trying not to faff about with the top too much because I don't want to get too many bubbles in it. And if the more you poke and prod at the top, especially with clear, the more likely you are to get the little bubbles in it. But yeah, just a tiny little bead, and I think I put another one on just for some more structure and just to make sure that's all covered. I think it's Kylie where he says as well, if it's not matte, it's not capped. Now that basically means that whole nail, once you're done, should look completely matte, and then you'll know all of your glitter is completely encapsulated. So next I'll go in with my filing routine. Now, I did watch Nicole of Tough Love Nails do this filing routine the other night, and on a live, and I really liked it. So I gave it a go myself and I really enjoyed it. But basically, you go in with your hand file first, and then you go in with your e-file. So I'll just kind of get the basic shape in with my hand file, and then I'll go around the cuticle. So I hardly need to touch the cuticle, and I can make sure it's nice and smooth, and then go in with the buffer at the end. Normally I would go in with the e-file first, then hand file, then I'd buff. So yeah, I just really liked it. I thought it was a great way to do it. But basically, as long as you're doing the same routine on every single nail, your shape will be much more consistent. I decided on the marble nails as well, just to go in with a very, very thin, really thin coating of a cat's eye, a blue cat eye. Then I literally just activate the magnet, you know, like the velvet look where you just wipe it round the side, because I didn't want to kind of cover it completely, but I just wanted that little extra depth, and it really helped. It looked lovely. So yeah, just get that cat eye activated, and then obviously cure as you're going along. So as I said before, it is a Coraline inspired set. So I will leave you to watch the design without me rambling at you. But if you have any questions, let me know. This is my normal gel polish, so with some of them I did go in and do a couple of coats, and also I found that if I cured it as I went along, it didn't kind of migrate or anything. But basically we were doing the trinkets, so we did little stars, we did the little kind of Ouija board planchette that she sees the door through. We also did the buttons, because you can't have a Coraline set without the buttons. And we also went in and did on the thumbs just kind of like a little moon, so it looked like a moon when you put the thumbs together. But again, I will leave you to watch that. Any questions or anything like that you want to know, let me know in the comments. I find if you're doing anything like a moon or anything like that, using a little cotton bud, or you could use one of those kind of ombre effect, you know, the aura effect sponges, the round sponges, anything like that works an absolute treat. And then using the same sponge, I put some little divots in it, you know, like in the black gel polish that you would find on the moon, so you could see, you know, you can see the dints in the moon. But the white and the black are from Hona, and I would highly recommend them. They are the most beautiful pigmented polishers to use. So you'll see here again, I did mention previously that because it's my normal gel polish and it was exactly the colour that we wanted, I decided just to go in with 2 coats, and you'll see how much more it pops on the second coat. And please excuse my thumbnail. I have a rather bad anxiety disorder, which means that I have a tendency to bite my nails. And my bit is set off, so I don't want to put anything on them for a little while, just to allow them to kind of relax a little bit. But I'll probably have another set on in a few weeks' time. So if ever you do see me in videos without anything on my nails, you know why. And my nails look like this, you know why. This is not how nails should look. So now I am doing the buttons. Now, whenever I'm doing any kind of round shape, I will always go in with a dotting tool to start off with. Even if it doesn't create a dotted round shape, it'll just give you a really good basis to go off. I will go in a moment with my liner brush because also it thins it out. Remember, when we're working with black, we don't want it to be too thick because we want to make sure that it's fully cured. For the little white dots that I'll do in a minute, once I give it the first cure, I use the dotting tool as well, and I'm using Cassie Payne's Sturdy Boy liner for any lining work that I'm doing on this set.